Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric. So today I thought we'd talk about probably the most important part of what you're going to be doing when it comes to running a repair shop, and that's intake. What do I mean by intake? I mean when customers call to drop their machines off, or when customers call and you go pick it up, that you have a rough idea of what's the matter with that machine, and that you have a system in place where you're tagging equipment so that you know exactly what belongs to whom. Because if you're not doing that, I guarantee you that you will have screw ups and you will be giving customers somebody else's machines. And somebody is not going to be happy. You know, this has been done numerous times before. Even with these shops that have been running for years, have these screw ups. But it's our job to minimize to as close to zero screw ups as possible. Why do I say it's one of the most important aspects of your business? Well, first, you want to know who it belongs to, what their address is, what their phone number is, and a general idea of what was going on with that machine when it broke down. You also want to know when was the last time the machine ran. And as we get into the video, you'll find that customers aren't always honest with you about that aspect. But if you're not doing this part, then it's going to bite you in the ass later down the line as you're working. Because as you start getting more customers, getting more machines, getting more, the tagging system has to be in place. And the tags, you can get them. I mean, you can make your own if you want. We buy ours pre-made. We get them right through Rotary. And as you want to get yourselves tagging system, and you can put on the one side of the tag, you can put the name. Well, it don't come up too good, but I can tell you. You put the name, address, phone number, and then on the back, it gives you an area for your mechanic or you to work on if you're adding parts as you go, so that you don't have to keep running back to the main clipboard. They're pretty handy. But we also use that for at the bottom of the here, why is it here? The reasoning why it's here. And this is where I want you guys to really listen. Customers aren't always honest with you. Customers don't always give you the full, you know, explanation that you should be hearing. Is kind of skewed. Sometimes it's because they just don't know the language. Whatchamacallit and this and that. That's that's fine. Well, an example would be a customer drops off a Cub Cadet push lawnmower, self-propelled. They've had it for 3 months and now it won't run. Okay. When did you start seeing a problem where it wouldn't run? Well, I stopped using it one day. I went out the next day to use it and it wouldn't start. All right, so it's got to be something simple, right? What they failed to say was it was a metal pipe in the yard that their blade hit and bent the crank on the push mower. And they thought it should be warranty work because it was under the 3 months. No. You cannot fix stupid. It's the customer. When we started talking to him, it was a lady. We started talking to her, and she finally owned up to hitting that piece of pipe. But had she told us that from the start, we would have probably told her it wasn't worth fixing at that point, versus now she owes us money for time to look at it and diagnose it. When a customer brings something into you, you can only somewhat listen. I'll be honest with you, because 99% of the customers that bring stuff to you are not being totally honest with you. We've had people bring in a box of parts saying that they can't get it running. That's the most expensive no. Because you, as a mechanic, even if you're a seasoned mechanic, without looking at the schematics to know if everything is still there, you don't know. There could be parts missing. If it's missing a carburetor, that's a pretty good sized part that they're going to have to eat, that you're going to have to buy for them. If they're missing screws, if they're missing. So we started doing a policy of, we will not work on anything that someone else has had their hands into. And I don't mean changing the spark plug or this or that. I mean, when you bring a box of parts in and say, can you fix it? The answer is no. You should have brought it to us before you got everything in the box. And that's what you guys have got to decide in your shop, if you're getting enough business or not enough business. That how much crap are you going to allow in? And the hard thing is these people that are doing it expect it to be fixed for a little bit of nothing. And you don't work for nothing. And that's going to tack on a bunch of labor that shouldn't have been there. Had you did it yourself, so you knew exactly, as I explained in other videos, even for you guys that are just starting out, get a clean work area, put a table or a couple paper towels, and as you're taking it apart, lay it from the farthest to the closest. That way, when you go to put it back together, you're starting from the closest and working your way back to the last. Everything is laid out exactly how you need it to be laid out. For you seasoned mechanics, I know my mechanic here that's been doing it for a long, long time. He doesn't need to do it my way. He does it. He gets a whole pile and then he throws it all back together like with his little wand. And so you got to be careful when you're taking machines in. You know. So with you being a shop owner, the biggest thing that you want to do is control costs, and probably the most cost you're going to pass on to the customer most generally is labor. So if someone is bringing you a box of parts to see if you can't fix it, wouldn't it be easier to tell them, look, it's not worth you paying me to put this all back together and try to make it work. If you want me to, I will. But this build could run higher than what it would cost to buy a new one. If you had brought it to me in the beginning where we could have done a few checks on it, we may have found that maybe it's low on compression, or it's not getting fire, or it needs a coil, or but you see where I'm saying? So it's better to say I can't do it in the beginning than in the end have a very upset customer. My rule of thumb here is with customers is I will not put in a dime more than I would my own machine without first talking to them. And when you start talking 15, 20-year-old mowers, if it's got major issues, it's probably not worth fixing. And again, we've had people that had older machines that just said it was working right along and it quit. So they brought it to us to see if we could get it fixed. What they forgot to tell us was it hadn't run in 2 years. Yeah. But yeah, so you have to physically look at each machine and be honest with your customer. And the tagging system works. So what if you take units like we do after hours? And what we tell our customers if they're going to be dropping it off after hours. Because if it's after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the shop's closed. But if I know it's coming, I want to know what the machine is. I get their name, address, phone number, what the machine is that they're bringing, and what the customer feels the issue is. Because a lot of folks we've had stuff dropped off 8, 9 o'clock at night on Sundays, what have you. So making sure that when you get there the following morning, that you tag the correct machines. And at that point, you have to really take a good look at it and see, is the customer being honest with you, and how much money is it going to cost? The thing I hate most about my job is calling customers and telling them that, I'm sorry, we can't help you, that this is the way it is. Our customers respond well to it because they like our honesty, but I always like to be able to fix whatever somebody has broken for a reasonable price. And one other thing you gotta be step lightly around is when a customer wants to know what it's gonna cost to fix something. And a lot of times you haven't even seen the unit yet. The best response is, it's going to cost you 1 hour's labor to do a complete diagnostic. And at that point, we can call you and let you know what we feel a close estimate is going to be to fix that machine. Because customers will hold you to their word. If you say, well, it shouldn't cost that much because all it needs is this or that, and next thing you know, it's like you're adding and adding and adding more parts because you find that this is bad, that's bad. So it's better to be upfront and just say it's going to cost you an hour's labor. We'll diagnose it. We will call you. And then you decide what you want to do at that point in time. We can give you suggestions. So the big thing is when you do an intake, make sure you get all pertinent information and why it's there. Understand that you can't totally trust your customers to be totally honest with you. And some work you're probably going to want to say no to unless you're first starting out. Uh, Especially the stuff that is what I call throwaway, that are brought in boxes. All right. On that note, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.